My name is Bree Hoveley, and I am co-owner slash business manager of Barbarian Brewing. So the city of Boise approached us this summer about participating. The coordinator for the event went around to all the breweries in town and pretty much asked everyone to apply to the program if they're interested. So we sat down and applied, and we were one of the 5 breweries and cideries that were chosen to make a beer with recycled water in Boise. At first, we had a lot of questions about how we were going to get the water, what were the chances that the water might not pass the tests, but the city was very good about, this is pretty much the cleanest water we've ever tasted or worked with in our lives.
My name is James Long. I'm the head brewer and co-owner of Barbarian Brewing in Garden City, Idaho. I'd say as Barbarian Brewing, we're pretty eclectic when it comes to our brewing style. We do everything from just regular IPAs and regular traditional ales to like wide range of Belgian styles. We do a lot of barrel-aged sours, kettle sours. We kind of invent our own styles too, so we're not really stuck with the basic kind of beers. We're just only really limited by how creative we want to get.
We are really honored to have been chosen because a lot of what we do is small batch, unique beers, and it kind of fits in with all of the other beers that we make. And as a small brewery, we don't have the capability to do a lot of renewable or recycling resources at our level. The timeline of the events, we all applied for the project. Those of us that got in, pretty much 2 weeks later, we got the water. So pretty much a semi-truck, water truck pulled up, hooked up a hose to our hot liquor tank, filled the tank with water, and then drove off to the next brewery. And we made our beer, but then a couple weeks later, we had a kickoff event at the Lander facility over off State Street, where we got to just serve our regular beers. And that was, I think, end of August. And so now we're mid-October, and the water was retested, passed, and we get to release our beers this week.
Incorporating the water was actually pretty fun. It gets us out of our comfort zone. We don't really alter water chemistry too much, so the water that came to us was like just super pure, clean, stripped of everything. So I had to go in and calculate water chemistry for have nutrients for the yeast and other nutrients in the beer that kind of affect the mouthfeel and flavor. So that was kind of fun to be able to play with that, and which is something that we don't normally do day to day.
Our hopes for our Pure Water release this week is that people will be able to drink our Oreo cookie ice cream ale and not think twice about it, not think that, oh gross, this was made from recycled water, or if anything, they'll be like, that's pretty cool. I don't taste any difference in the beer. Mainly because, like I said, the water we received was cleaner than anything we've ever brewed with, any water you're getting out of bottled water that you're drinking out of the tap. But if anything else, we're ready for it.
My name is Jerry Larson, and my wife and I own Mad Sweet Brewing. I brewed my first beer in college in 1979, and I also have done other things. I was a mechanical engineer for 35 years, so before retiring to open this place. So really, what they recycled water is that's what they've been doing on the space station for however many years. In fact, I've been told, I've never seen it, but supposedly one of the astronauts has a T-shirt on and it says today's pee, tomorrow's coffee, or something like that. The testing they do on it was just ridiculous. Just the list as long as your arm. So that's. It's proven good stuff, so why not? And the other reality is that Earth is a closed system. So all of our water has been recycled numerous times. It'd be interesting to see in the next 20 years if the city can convert more and more. They have the same infrastructure problem I do with this in terms of the process flow. we're set up with a certain process, right? The Suez pulls it out of the ground and gives it to us, and then it goes to the city to deal with. And so connecting that back is the problem, right? That infrastructure. And then the volume that would have to be used and that kind of thing. But I'm hoping the city can see the value going forward and start with this pilot and make it a little bit bigger, and then see how big it can go. I don't know that you could do 100% up through the city, but if you could do 5% and then 10% and then 20% over the years, then that's that much more we don't have to pull out of the ground. So hopefully they'll keep it going.
My name's Jacob Black, and I'm the owner of Lost Grove Brewing.
My name's Kylie Boland, and I am the manager at Lost Grove Brewing.
They sent out a mass email to all the breweries throughout the valley and asked for breweries to apply to be a part of the project. And so we were one of 3 breweries that were selected. Out of, I believe they had like 10 or 12 breweries apply for it. Once we saw the email come across, we were pretty excited about it and something that we definitely wanted to be involved in.
Boise is trying to be more proactive in green initiatives and sustainability, and it was brewed as a part of an energy conference that came to town. And I think, part of it was to attract energy companies to start investing in Boise, showing that we are open and progressive. And we want all these things. And so this is kind of one example of something different to be like, hey, this is something we're looking at, we're willing to do, we're willing to try new ideas, we want this. And so I think that it did kind of hopefully create an attraction for other, companies to invest here.
I think everybody's been enjoying it. Yeah, it's a Kolsch, which this was the first time that we've done a Kolsch, but it's just really nice on the lighter side, has a little bit of sweetness, but the water itself I think actually kind of helped dry the beer out a little bit, which is nice on the Kolsch aspect.
The city wouldn't put out a product that's going to hurt you, so the fact that it's just cool to see that they're able to do this process, and then the people that try it, and then the people that are don't even know about it try it, and we're like, oh yeah, that's part of our Pure Water project. They're like, oh, okay, cool, you can't even tell. And we're like, no.
They're like, wait, what do you mean it's a pure water beer? And we're like, well, so we used wastewater to brew this beer, and everybody's kind of like, whoa, kind of gets a little held back on it. But once you kind of go through and talk to them more about it and explain the process, people kind of loosen back up and are pretty excited to try it.
People will make jokes, and come up with different punny names for the beer. But it's all in fun, and it's not, they still are drinking the beer as they're coming up with them. So that's really been the only thing I guess you could kind of classify as negative. But yeah, for the most part, we've had a really good response. Boise is an awesome community, and I think this was a smart community to kind of bring that into, because we are fairly, kind of more sustainable minded and green minded, and so a lot of people are open to it.
We did work with the city on the naming aspect of it. They let us take full reign. They just wanted to kind of check off that it was okay, so that we didn't utilize kind of inappropriate names for it. And so City Raw came over when we went and toured the wastewater treatment facility. The City Raw was one of the big pumps that they had down there, and so that's kind of where we came up with that name, and the fact that it's raw water, so on and so forth. As marketing side of it, the city put on a few events for us, which was really nice, and then also helped just get some publicity out there stating hey, these breweries are doing this project, which brought some people into the tasting room that normally wouldn't have come across. And then we teamed up as kind of a group of breweries and went and pitched it to a few different bars and restaurants that we knew would be able to kind of get behind the idea.
You see stuff around town with the green bikes, and it's just you can just see that Boise is actively trying just to, you know, go more green, be more sustainable, like look for new ways to do things. Whereas, and I guess I, you know, haven't lived in other cities in Idaho in a while, but I just don't know if they even have the resources to, or if, yeah, that is such a push. So I think that it was a perfect fit for Boise just because they're already doing so much that is very proactive.
In the brewing industry, it's really nice. We all work together pretty well. So if somebody needs some grain, instead of ordering a whole pallet, they just go borrow it from other breweries. So we've always worked together fairly well. So this was just kind of a fun project to work together on. But yeah, everybody's very supportive. And so we were all, had a couple meetings where we picked out the places that we wanted to approach that would carry the beer. And everybody was excited to work on this project together. We would switch over to all recycled water for sure. It's a pure water, so it's easier to add things back into the water than it is to take them out. So if we can have a water that's starting at practically basic H2O, for us that's fantastic, because then we can manipulate it to exactly what we want for the exact style of beer that we're looking for. Where, you know, the water that we currently get is still really nice water, just because we're fortunate with where we live. But there still are some adjuncts in there that we don't have the capacity to be able to pull out. So we just kind of have to, you know, brew with what we've got. But if we were to have a more pure product, that would be fantastic for sure.